I look at the world through a king's eyes.
What's up on my hip-hop-ish? I am Telesa Hines, poet, actress, author, motivational speaker, and life coach.
Where are you from?
So I was born in Georgia. I did most of my growing up in Germany because I'm an Army brat, and I recently relocated to Atlanta from Oklahoma City. So I truly am international.
Okay. So tell me, you said you're a poet and a motivational speaker. What made you get into poetry?
I have actually been writing poetry since I was a child. Some people say they went through some traumatic thing in life that made them turn to poetry for therapy. That was never my thing. From the time I was born, I had a love for words, and what I loved even more than the words themselves was stringing them together in ways that blew people's minds. And when I realized as a child that I could put words together in a way that made people stop and take pause, I knew I wanted to do that forever.
Okay. I recently saw you at Apache Cafe for the poetry versus hip hop event.
Yeah.
How'd you find out about that event?
So Poetry versus Hip Hop is actually a national touring show. And never in a million years did I think that I would even consider being on that stage. However, DJ Know That and Queen Sheba, who is the captain of Teen Poetry and also a host at Apache Cafe, reached out to me and said, hey, we want you to be in Poetry versus Hip Hop. At first, I was a little bit intimidated because I'm very much a poet, and I really don't cross over the lines of, being an MC or being a rapper. And I'm not a battle poet. I'm not a slam poet. I usually kind of do my own thing, and that's really what's my signature style. But I said, you know what? I've been asked to do it. Anytime somebody asks me to do something, I feel like it's an opportunity by the Most High. For one reason or another, you're meant to be in that space at that time. So I was like, you know what? I'm up for the challenge. Let's do it.
Okay. You said, what is your style of poetry? You said you're not in the slam poetry. What is your style of poetry? How would you define it?
So, being an African-American female writer, being a black writer, you are automatically boxed into the genre of being urban. And when I first started writing professionally as an adult, I was irritated by that. I'm like, just because I'm black doesn't make me urban, because I can write some Victorian style literature that would make you think Shakespeare wrote it. I write haiku, and you would think I was Asian. So I didn't like being boxed into urban. But eventually I was like, you know what? I'm black. Because I'm black, they're going to call me urban. So guess what? I'll wear that title. But if I'm going to be an urban writer, an urban poet, then I'm going to single-handedly revitalize urban literature and take it and revamp the reputation that it has. So no, I don't feel like I fit into any category. I'm completely organic. So when my pen hits the paper, it's whatever the Most High put in my dome, and that's what comes out.
That's exactly what I saw on stage at Apache Cafe. Break down spoken word for me. Break down, I guess, the different facets of spoken word, and what is spoken word? Give that to us.
So, spoken word is where there becomes a division between poetry and performance poetry. And spoken word is intended to take to the stage. It's intended to be performed for audiences, for crowds. And it's used as a vehicle to raise consciousness, to educate, to entertain. So that's what spoken word is in itself. What people don't know about, and I'm sorry, another thing about spoken word, I think a lot of the people who love poetry but consider themselves MCs are not comfortable being called a poet, because For some people, poet sounds soft, or it sounds lame, or you don't get street cred for being a poet. So they started calling it spoken word, because if you're not exactly a rapper, but you are a lyricist, boom, we got our own category. But what happened was, over time, and I mean like since the 60s, spoken word evolved into something that was bigger than us, bigger than the artist, and it garnered its own subculture. So spoken word has awards that are just as big as the Grammys or the Oscars. There are spoken word shows that are just as big as what you see on TV. There are poems recorded and out here for you to listen to on YouTube, and albums that are out here on every social media avenue that are just as big as what you get on the radio and on TV. But if you're not someone who follows poetry or follows spoken word, you may not be aware of it. But keep in mind, if you're someone who doesn't follow rap, you may not know Jay-Z. So we're here and we're present, and we have a very large following. It's the takeover.
Okay. Who are some of the key players, or who are some of the most popular poets or spoken word artists similar to yourself? Like how is that culture divided? Is it somewhat like how we would see like artists? Like, okay, we have a Jay-Z, we have Kanye. Like, is it you said it's for the taking. It's a lot of you out there. Mm-hmm. Like, who are some of those key players out there?
So first of all, I think the only division comes with regard to region. Mm-hmm. So you have your West Coast poets, and you have your down south poets. So, you have your Sonny Patterson out of New Orleans. You have world famous Georgia Me from right here, Tamika Georgia Me Harper. The ones who really put it on the map were the Def Jam poets from back in 2001, when Russell Simmons had Russell Simmons Def Poetry Jam. So those artists, they are still here. They are still killing it. You have Black Ice from Chicago. You have Red Storm from Chicago. You got Dichotomy right here in Atlanta. So they're out here, and they have been doing this for so long. And I'm grateful for artists like that, because they are the ones who have created a platform for newcomers like myself. And I hope that I am on this road chopping down trees and paving ways for younger artists that are coming behind me. Because what cannot happen is poetry cannot die. We cannot let it die, because this right here is the entertainment realm that holds true to the responsibility to educate the people, to wake the consciousness of the people. That's what we are doing. So it has to live. It has to.
Give me, you mentioned off camera, in Oklahoma, correct?
Yes.
Give me your scene in Oklahoma. You said you were very, very large out there. Like, explain that. Give us some of that history.
Oklahoma City has its own poetry subculture as well. Tulsa, Oklahoma has its own poetry subculture. You have your Candace Ligers, your Grace Franklins. O.B. West was very well known in Oklahoma City, but he's actually from Cali. You have your amazing poets that the entire state knows, and they are out here doing amazing things. And I watched them, and I was so inspired by them. I was like, yo, I got to get on the same stages that they are on. And it was difficult at first, because they had paid their dues, and it was like, yo, who is this new chick on the scene thinking she about to share the mic with me? And I watched them, and I was inspired by them, and I went back to the lab. My lab is my pen and pad in my house, and every time I came back, I showed up and I shut it down so that I could make a permanent space for me on the stages that mattered. And I did that, and I grew. And, I feel like I hit my poetical ceiling in Oklahoma City. And then that's when I stepped out on faith and came right here to Atlanta, Georgia.
What do you have coming up?
Oh, wow. So I'm so blessed. You know, I put out a request into the universe. The universe heard me. The Most High heard me. Let me tell you what's going down. First of all, you can always find me at www.telesahines.com. It's always updated with where I am. I'm currently on tour, on a personal tour, a nationwide tour. I will pop up in any city near you, wherever I'm booked. But I am also the newest cast member of the Punany Poets. The Punany Poets, as seen on FX and HBO. I am in the cast of Secret of the Pearl. We are on a 9-city tour. Our first show is January the 14th. The kickoff of the tour is right here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm very excited about that. You know, I don't know what's going to come out of that, but we are hitting Oakland, we hitting LA, we hitting Denver, we hitting Phoenix, we hitting New York. Like, it is bananas. So I'm super excited about that. And then I'm also in the process of a book. So I have a book that, God willing, it will come out in February. It is going to be somewhat of an anthology, but when I say anthology, it will not be a collection of different artists. I'm not featuring anybody. It's all Telesa. You're getting all me, but you're getting all the different styles of writing that I do. So y'all watch for that. And then, in addition to being a poet, I am also an actress and a motivational speaker. So I actually play myself in a film called The Last Time, which was Tommy Ford's last project before his untimely passing. God rest his soul. So that is coming out here within the next month, so y'all watch for that. And then I am featured in the We Are One conference. I'm actually doing a full-blown workshop at a 3-day conference in Durham, North Carolina, because I'm on the motivational speaking tip as well. So whatever I can do to uplift, inspire, educate, raise the vibrational energy of my people, that's what I'm about. There was a time when I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. There was a time when I was scrapping change to get a pack of ramen noodles. There was a time, you know, I didn't exactly know where I was going to lay my head. I've had to take a shower and wash my hair at a truck stop. I've slept in my car. When you make the decision to step out on faith, I'm going to tell you something. You know you are doing the right thing if you have to be uncomfortable for a little while. But you got to take the leap. And in the words of Steve Harvey, the parachute ain't going to open immediately, because the universe, God, the divine source needs to know, like, how real are you? Like, how serious are you? How hard will you go? How bad do you want it? If you're willing to, in the words of the famous poem, miss your peace, your time, your sleep for it, and go get it, do it. Find your passion. Your passion is the thing that you are willing to do for free. Let me tell you something. Right now, every stage I get on, I'm getting cash money in my pocket. But was it always like that? No. Absolutely not. I perform for free all the time, every time in the beginning. And I've written poems about it. Like, I've driven to poetry shows praying that someone would tip me $5 so I could put some gas in my car to get back home. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, when you want a thing bad enough, your hustle has to match your ambition. No excuses. No excuses. So, again, you can find me on my website, telesahines.com. That's TELESAHINES.com. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram by my name as well. Have an artist page on Facebook. And yo, I am so dope. Like, I'm a regular person. You friend request me, I'll add you. You know, you follow me, I'll follow back. Like, we family. And I'll close out with the piece that I did on the stage of Poetry versus Hip Hop. This piece is currently untitled, but for the sake of giving it a name, we're going to call it Dear Hip Hop. Ready? Dear Hip Hop, I was drafted to be a warrior in a battle called Poetry versus Hip Hop. They said poetry versus hip hop, and I'm like, poetry versus hip hop? That's like mother versus son, son. And yes, I sunned you.